3, 2, 1.
Hey there, you beautiful badass. Welcome to the Keri Croft Show. I'm your host, Keri Croft, delivering you stories that get you pumped up and feeling like the unstoppable savage that you are. So grab your coffee, put on your game face, and let's do this thing, baby. Ready to elevate your self-care game? Boss Gal Beauty Bar is a modern med spa offering everything from cosmetic injectables, lasers and microneedling to medical-grade facials and skincare. Conveniently located in Clintonville, Grandview, Powell, and Easton, making self-care a priority has never been easier. Use code CROFT for $25 off your first visit. Hi, it's your girl Keri. I recently sat down with Nikki McCarthy, the founder and executive director of Sam's Fans. We had a great conversation about the work she does to honor her daughter Sam, who is the inspiration behind this cool organization. They're a nonprofit that supports music and art therapy for seriously ill kids and their families. In a few weeks, they're having their biggest fundraiser of the year called A Thread of Hope. Nikki invited me, so I'll be there. And it sounds like a really awesome event. Silent and live auction, great music by Conspiracy, Cameron Mitchell food, and we know how much I love Cameron Mitchell and food, drinks, and a fashion presentation by local boutique Thread. So join me there on October 24th at the Exchange at Bridge Park in Dublin for A Thread of Hope. To sponsor or purchase tickets, go to www.samsfans.org or DM me. See you there. Erika Karl,
Yes.
welcome to the Keri Croft Show.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
You know, you're just a sweetheart.
Oh, geez. Thank you.
It's funny when you meet someone behind a computer. So you and I have known each other for a while through Boss Gal.
Right.
And I saw your picture and I like perved a little bit on Insta. I'm like, oh, she's a little minx. She's a little minx.
Geez.
So pretty and put
Thank
together and
you.
stuff. Had a very sweet vibe. But then when I finally meet you, I'm like, oh, friends.
Oh, I love it. I feel the same. I feel
You know?
like I knew you before I met you for similar reasons, but it is rare when you meet people that you know online and then they turn out to be not what they project online. It can be disheartening. So I love when I meet someone who is what you see is what you get.
Yeah. Let's start with your what you got going on here appearance wise.
Okay.
Because I want to talk about your hair.
Okay. Yes.
And you do have extensions in.
Yes, I go to a fabulous place here in Grandview. It's May Hair. Rachel does my hair. I've had them for 2 years and no problem. My actual real hair is healthier. And I love it because as a busy mom, I do the whole thing once a week and maybe wash the top another time. And it like holds the whole style for me. So I'm in and out the door.
I need to talk a little more about this because extensions are something that I look at and I'm like, I would love extensions. I mean, a literal wig, like Dolly Parton. Like, I would love that, but then I'm nervous because, for example, my nails. I get the gel done, and I take the gel off, and they're frail.
Yeah.
And I have to climb that mountain, but it's just my nails. So it's like, okay, that's not mission critical. Your hair is like, boom. So I'm afraid it's gonna like kill my hair.
Damage. I've had no issues, and I'll take them out between ordering new hair like once a year, and my hair is just as, if not better because I'm not messing with it so much when I didn't have the extensions in. I've had no problems with it. It's a really great technique. They're just sewn in. I'll show you off air.
I was going to say, like, when your hair grows, because it used to be like one line, right?
Can you see where it's put in? And it's very thin.
It's very subtle.
Very, very thin. And I have 2 rows.
And so when your hair grows, it just kind of grows with it, but it's no big deal.
So then you get them moved up every like 6 to 8 weeks. I push it to 8 weeks. But I'll tell you what's fabulous is I go there, I have a coffee, we chit chat, and then I'm on my computer doing my emails and admin stuff. So it doesn't bother me at all to go and sit there, whereas your nails, you can't do anything. You're stuck there.
How long of a process is moving them up?
Oh, an hour.
And how often do you have to get the actual new hair?
I do mine once a year, but I take really good care of it, just like I would my normal hair. I do treatments on the ends and things like that, and I don't over style it with heat. But you can color them, you can curl them.
Is this like, whose hair is that?
I thought about that before.
Is it a real person's hair?
It's human hair, so
there's people out there that just grow the shit out of their hair and they sell their hair for extensions. Isn't that crazy?
yes, I know. I went down that rabbit hole before.
Wild. Okay, so let's start with how we met each other, which is Boss Gal.
Yes.
And what you actually do career-wise. We'll start there. So you have your own company called Boom.
Yep.
Tell me what that stands for again.
Bold, out of ordinary marketing.
Okay, so you focus on fitness and beauty and health. Is that kind of your lane, or do you go outside of that lane too for marketing?
Yes, we try to stay within fashion, beauty, lifestyle, luxury, those types of brands, because I think we really understand the space and we try not to be everything to everyone and just really specialize.
Yeah. But what's funny, so you're a marketing maven and all of this, but you actually were a chemist.
Yes.
That was what you were going to be.
Yeah, I was a chemist for 5 years. I'm old, Keri. I'm 38.
You're not that old. I could be your grandma.
No, you could not. So I feel like you probably feel like this too, that I feel like I've lived 1,000 lives and pivoted so much, but I just naturally was good at chemistry in school. I wasn't in love with it or passionate, and kind of got stuck there for a number of years. But during my time there, I moonlighted as the fashion editor of 614 magazine. That's when in 2008, I started a blog, which was like cringy to do back then. No one was doing it, and putting yourself out there wasn't a thing. And really just started build my secondary resume.
When you say chemistry was your thing, I'm trying to picture you when you were little and you were real smart probably. And were you kind of a nerd? Were you like cool? Like what were you in like grade school, middle school? I could see you with your goggles and your like potions.
I don't know. I feel like I've always had this dichotomy of I was a cheerleader, I was on homecoming, I had lots of friends because to this day, friendships are something that are like top priority for me. But I was like serious about school and I wanted to do well and I wanted to, feel smart and do well professionally.
Did you win homecoming queen?
It was by chance, okay? So you get voted onto court and then you pick a rose on the field. But one of my best friends won, so.
It was by chance?
Yeah, so they pick the 7 girls and then they come out with a tray of roses and you pick one and the yellow rose wins. And so we all unwrap them on 3 on the middle of the football field.
How mad were you? Moment. Were you mad at all at the time?
No, because I don't like attention. Like I like it on my own terms when I want to share something online.
Yeah.
But I was just so nervous to walk out there. My dad walked me out, which made me feel better, but I just didn't want everyone looking at me.
Right.
So I was like, yes, thank God she won.
God, I was not even close to being on homecoming court. I always think I'm always so impressed with that when someone tells me they were on homecoming court or won. I'm like, damn.
Oh my gosh.
You must have been real nice person.
I can't see that. I feel so welcomed by you.
I'm a nice person, but I was like in high school. First of all, imagine having this hard charging sort of unique, marching to your own drum kind of personality. So I played basketball. I ran track. I was a cheerleader, but I also was a rebel. I was also very just kind of edgy and bull in a china shop. So I can see where people probably, didn't know what to do with me. So,
but I bet you're not a people pleaser.
Oh no, I'm not.
That's what I struggle with.
No, I actually, let's take a minute for that. When I hear about people pleasing, I feel compelled to share because I feel like people pleasing is such a toxic thing for the person. And it doesn't help you in any way because people don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
People are too busy doing their own stuff.
100%.
And so like I've told my friend this, I'll leave her nameless, but when she hears this, she'll know. You're exhausting yourself with all these yeses. And what you're really doing it for is your own little tally of like, it's either guilt or you're like, well, if I do this for that person, then I kind of have this equity built up on their end. And then the expectation is that when it comes time for you, that the equity is there.
And it's never that way.
But it's also, here's where I will say, it's your fault for setting that expectation with yourself.
Yeah.
Like one thing I will always do, I will do shit for you because I care about you and because I authentically am thinking about how I can help you. If I don't feel that way, I won't. But I will never, ever do something for you because I want secretly to get something in return.
That's incredible, and that's how it should be. I feel like mine comes from a likability. Like I want to make sure everybody likes me, and I'm, not ashamed to admit that. But when I had my kids is when I was like, no, people pleasing is to my detriment, and this is my priority. They are my priority. So if it takes time away from my business or them, it's got to be worth it, and because I want to do it. just
Yeah.
genuinely want to do it.
But it's hard. You know,
It's hard to say
easy
no.
to sit and say, you know, I'm going to say no, or I'm going to do whatever, because you're so conditioned that way.
Yeah.
And this likability thing and wanting to be liked by everyone is so strong. The pull is so strong.
Yep.
And I understand it. Like someone like me, do I still feel that pull? Absolutely. But there's
natural,
something
but-
in me that's like, go fuck yourselves, everybody. I'm going to do what I want anyway. I just have that.
Yeah.
But if I didn't, I can see where it's so hard.
Yeah.
But at some point, and you know what you could be, and I feel like this might be you. You're authentically a very likable person. It's not like you're trying to be something you're not.
Yeah.
You just are a really nice person and
you.
a kind.
I'm coming here every day.
I actually
You
hate
just
the word
are
nice.
pumping me up.
You're a
I'm-
kind person. You're a sweet person. You
Thank
just you add value in your space, right? So I don't think you're trying to be something you're not. I think when people are trying too hard to be likable, and I've seen it in here. I've seen it with people I work with that also have shows. They're trying so hard behind the scenes to curate and figure out how to mold and shape and fit themselves into some kind of thing that they feel is acceptable.
Right.
And my question is, acceptable to whom?
Right.
To whom?
Yeah.
Like you're never going, I don't care how hard you twist and turn to try to be everything, someone is going to call a foul on you.
100%.
You know?
I forget the actress, she said you can be the ripest, juiciest peach in the world, and there's going to be someone out there who hates peaches.
Yeah.
So you might as well just be yourself. And also I think like with the landscape we're in now, the digital landscape and the curated photos, and people are just craving authenticity. And I also feel like, you know, I shared on my podcast this week that I was nervous to come on the show here, and I call them quick shifts or ways to just raise your vibration. And I did a little meditation before I came on the show, and I got this download that authenticity is your superpower. And when you speak from the heart, you're magnetic and you're attracting the person who needs to hear that message. And it's not to your detriment because you're being true to yourself. You're just letting it flow through you, and you're not trying to fit in a box or please everyone. And that's powerful, I believe.
It is. By the time you figure that out, some people are well into their 50s and 60s and they're like, damn, if I only knew this, because the freedom that comes with not giving a fuck about people who don't give a fuck about you is... There's really no words for how freeing that is.
And it keeps people from doing things. Like I was worried what my parents would think about me, you know, going 4 years to school to be a chemist, working 5 years, and all of a sudden I'm going to completely pivot. I could have just stayed because I wanted to please them or other people who thought I should have, you know, walked this path. So I think like, you know, when you're 80, 90 years old and you're laying your head down at night, how do you want to feel? Do you want to feel like you went for it and you did those things? Or are you going to be upset that you didn't simply because you were worried what other people thought?
So what you just said about the parents and doing what the parents want you to do or what you perceive that they want you to do, and that's a powerful pull.
Mm-hmm.
And you also said that when you were younger, you struggled with anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
So I can imagine you being a little people-pleasing chemist, you know, with all the anxiety and wanting just to like do everything to make everyone so happy. Do you remember those moments of anxiety and how they sort of kind of took over you?
Yeah, I mean, I still struggle with anxiety, but I think I have learned more ways to manage it. I went through 20 years of life without realizing that, one, not everyone feels this way and thinks this way in their minds. Like I thought everyone was anxious or had intrusive thoughts, or that's just how everyone dealt with their lives. And number two, hey, there's things you can do about it. Meditation, breath work. So to answer your question, I feel like I do remember anxiety making me less confident, not confident enough to make choices I knew in my gut and in my intuition were meant for me and that I wanted to pursue, because I was nervous all the time.
Yeah. So as if you didn't have enough on your plate with being a mom, a wife, owning Boom, you also have this other passion project called Rituelle. So speaking of the meditation and helping with your anxiety, and this thing that you're doing with Rituelle has been a huge help for you in figuring out how to, the meditation. And walk me through that again. I think you said you went and you got some kind of
Yeah.
certification?
Yeah, I was living in Chicago at the time. I was in my early 20s, and I did a 6-week course. And that was when I first started learning about meditation 10, 12 years ago. I did a course, I'm certified, just because I wanted to deepen my own practice. And when I was learning about meditation, it was crunchy. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't cool. There was no one who looked like me or had the job I had who was doing meditation in my world that I could see. So Rituelle, I really want to just be the permission slip for women of all walks of life, stay-at-home moms, entrepreneurs, to say, hey, it's okay to take the time to fill your cup up first, and you can't pour from an empty cup. So Rituelle is a podcast, and then so much of my life is digital that I wanted to have in real life connections. So we host these wellness walks around the city, which one of our last ones was at Paloma. So it's a 20-minute guided gratitude walk by me. And then we end at a surprise location. This last one was Paloma, and we did a sound bath and aura photography. And what comes from that, it's fun, and everybody loves the process, but the connections, the community, the women getting in a room saying, oh my gosh, I struggle with this too. Sometimes I can't get out of bed and my kids need me and I'm just depressed, or I am so anxious. And that is the beauty of Rituelle right now for me and for everyone else, I feel.
Yeah. And you have actual meditations people can download or follow along with? How does that work?
Yes. So I am on Substack now, which is bringing me back to the 2008 blogging era. I'm obsessed. You need to get on it. It's like very intimate. There's a community aspect to it. You can keep it free or paid. So I have a free newsletter where I give people a ton of value, a ton of links of things I'm loving around the internet or wellness products I'm using. And then I have a paid section where it is a 7-day meditation series with plans to add more each month. It's super cheap. It's like $5. But yeah, that's where you can really get your feet wet and try. I have all different styles, walking meditations for when you're putting your makeup on, driving, breath work, because I think sometimes people, they don't want to fail at new things, and they think, I need to have this perfectly curated routine where I'm in a dark, quiet place and I'm sitting and I'm meditating for 20 minutes. And while I love that and I love to try to fit that in, it's not my reality every day. And I need to fit it in, and it needs to meet me where I'm at. So I want to show women you can be the busiest person ever, but meditation and taking time for yourself doesn't have to add more to your plate. It can fit seamlessly within your life and your routine.
Yeah, I could not agree more. And I will explain to you what I do.
Yes, I know. I've seen your videos. So
okay. So how many people ask you if it's really worth it to get a haircut by Mia Santiago?
Honestly, a lot. And honestly, it is.
I mean, she is a celebrity hairstylist in Columbus, Ohio. That's all you really need to know.
She doesn't miss, and now she has her own salon, Headspace. It is truly something the city has never seen.
Girl, I did one scalp treatment, and I would let Jake put his hands on my head anytime he wanted.
No, same. It's right in Upper Arlington where Mia cuts and styles, and Jake manages a full scalp spa, which is like a facial for your scalp and a massage for all of the stress and tension we hold in our head and neck.
I legit felt like I was on something after I got my first treatment, and my hair looks so much healthier now that all the buildup and dead skin are gone. I mean, I do love massages, but honestly, this might be even better. Plus, it has so many proven benefits for my hair health.
Truly believe you get what you pay for, and Mia and Jake are the dream team.
Use code Keri for 20% off your first visit with Miss Mia Santiago. We all know the age-old joke, why did the chicken cross the road? Well, in this day and age, cool chicks cross the road to make their way to SZN, a groovy little boutique in downtown Pal, Ohio. Located at 37 South Liberty Street, SZN offers curated apparel, accessories, and gifts from purpose-driven brands. Stop in and listen to Tara's story and the stories of the brands sold within the shop. Ask her why a hen is Zen, and receive four-legged greetings from Wally, the small and mighty shop dog. At SZN, your purchase has a bigger purpose. Mention the awesomeness that is the Keri Croft Show and receive 20% off your total purchase. So, for me, meditation was very polarizing. It was for other people. It was too crunchy. It was too, have to sit in a room and have pillows. And I felt like it was unapproachable. And then I went to Bali, and we had to meditate every morning, and it was so hard for me. And the Alicia Chung, who is, to this day, I keep in touch with her. She's phenomenal. She would notice me. I mean, even I couldn't sit still for 5 minutes, and then by the time we got to the end, I think we were sitting for maybe almost an hour, which you don't have to do that every day. You can do a 5 minute, a 10 minute. It's not really about the time. It's about what you're doing within that time. And so I find that, whether I'm running, walking, because you can do a moving meditation. Yep. And I also have a weird, and some people might say this isn't meditation because you're not like letting your brain stop thinking of things. Maybe mine's like a meditation manifestation clusterfuck of things.
I love it.
And when I ideate and manifest and I have visions for things, it's when I'm running, it's when I'm driving, and now it's in my sauna. So I just got a sauna, a redwood outdoor sauna, and I put it in my garage, and she's a beaut. I fucking love her.
How's it feel to be God's favorite?
I know. It is. I mean, she is truly, she gets up to 200 degrees, I'm telling you. And so whenever I get in there, I sit for the first 5 minutes and I will breathe. And it's kind of hard to do breath work when it's so hot. Mm-hmm. But if you start feeling that way, just breathe. I mean, it's fine. And then when I inhale, what do I think the most important things are? So the most important thing is my well-being and my health so that I can keep other people in my life, right? So you start with yourself in terms of breathing in the positive for you, for health, for, that you stay healthy, that you don't get injured, that you don't get sick, that your mental health stays strong, and you're breathing in the positive stuff. And sometimes I just let myself think about all the good. Like as I'm inhaling, whatever good comes in, it's all inhaled. And that could be different each day. It's like you have snapshots of Kyle and Dane and Brady and your life and how lucky you are to be healthy. And then when you exhale, you start to think about the things, like the negative things, like self-doubt or maybe habits that you want to get rid of. So it's inhale the good, exhale the bad. And then once I do that for a couple minutes, I start to stretch in there. Yeah. And I've been doing these really wild yin stretches in this heat, and it's really hard and it's really great. And so then what I try to do is I try to continue to think of those thoughts while I'm doing the stretches in the heat. So it's a very interesting practice, I guess you would call it. But whether you're in your car sitting there in the parking lot waiting for your kid or whatever, you got 5 minutes somewhere just to think about the positives and what you're grateful for and to exhale out the shit.
What do they say? Inhale the good shit, exhale the bullshit.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. 100%.
I love that. That feels so approachable and attainable. Mm-hmm. And that's why I like breath work too, because it is a struggle to quiet your mind. And I think breath work is more of an activation, like a meditation / activation. And it's like the gateway drug, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah. And you don't do it for that long, right?
Yeah.
During the day, the meditation.
Oh, I mean, once a week, if I get a 20-minute by myself is amazing. But most of mine are on the go. If I'm on a walk or doing my makeup in the car. Yeah. I mean, I sometimes, if I can just get 5 minutes seated by myself, I feel great.
Are you doing more of the where you're really trying to release your brain from any thoughts at all?
Yeah. That's my favorite style of meditation. But I just wanted to let go of that story that you need that time and you need to be completely blank to be effective, because I still think our lives are so noisy from the time you open your eyes to the time you go to sleep. You're on social media, you've got the news blaring, your kids are needing you, and then you're driving and you have the radio on. You don't have a time to get quiet, and a woman's intuition is so strong. But if you can't hear it, how are you going to know what the next choice to make is, or what the next move is, if you can't hear yourself think?
It's funny because when I do this thing I just told you about in the sauna, every time I try to start with okay, so before we start this inhaling and exhaling stuff, just don't think of anything, and that's. You can do it and you can get better at it. It's a really hard part to do.
So I like to do breath work to lead me into that.
Yes.
I think that helps me.
No, it absolutely does.
The other thing is it's really powerful. You said you sometimes like to work out and it helps you manifest. There's science behind that. That's actually very, very powerful to combine movement with manifestation. Dr. Joe Dispenza is one of my favorite scientists in the space. He's a neuroscientist. And he did an experiment where they hooked up an Olympic athlete to electrodes while they were meditating and visualizing themselves winning a race. And then they had the electrodes on the athlete somehow while he ran a race, obviously not the Olympics, and the brainwaves were the exact same. Like the mind doesn't know, the subconscious does not know the difference between if it's really happening or if it's in your aura and in your mind.
Yeah, no, I am a huge visualizer.
That's super powerful
and it's funny. I'm a visualizer to the point where, and I don't share it obviously, because if I shared what was in my brain, I think people would probably think I had lost my marbles. But I think it's important that if you want something, if you have a goal or a vision or a desire that you feel like is so audacious and so out there, if you first of all don't believe it can happen, but then picture yourself in those situations, how are you ever gonna even get there?
Actually,
so picturing yourself in a situation like is so incredibly important. But then obviously doing the work behind it all the time to make it happen. Because, I do feel like some people I've seen today on Instagram and otherwise, podcasts, etc., manifest has been such a huge buzzword.
Yes.
And I think that's great. I do it all the time. But if you're not doing, like, manifesting is like the easiest part of the equation. It's everything else that goes into the building of your dream along with manifestation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that, you've got the vision board, but then you need to set yourself up for opportunities and doing the work. Like I did this when I was a chemist. I knew what I wanted my life to look like. I was ripping pages out of a magazine of editors at chic offices. So what was I going to do? Wait for someone to knock on the lab door to be like, you should be a marketer or an editor. So I put in the time. I was working 50 hours a week, and then in the evenings going to do pulling clothing and styling models and being on these shoots and putting the time in to get what you want. So you can't just wish for it. You definitely have to put in the work. And
yeah. So the camp of people out there that are just manifesting and not doing anything else, like you're like a cat. You're basically you're sitting on a couch like a cat, and cats daydream all the time, right? I mean, like you have to put the infrastructure behind it for it to. Yeah. This just in. I hate to be the party pooper, but that's just the way it works.
And I have a tip too. Like you said, if you are manifesting something so large and you can't believe yourself or picture yourself there, a good little hack is to get yourself in that high state vibration is to just like take the first step. So maybe if you want to be, say, the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, and right now you work at Starbucks, well, just picture first step of the journey. Maybe since you're that CEO, you wake up at 5 and you have time to journal. So start doing that now. And then you can get yourself to believe these little instances, and then you can help yourself to believe the bigger picture, because so much of manifesting is being in those feelings, like feeling that joy state. And you're not chasing the goal. You're chasing the feeling that you're going to have once you reach the goal.
Oh, it's so true. So powerful. So what are some other hot topics that you would discuss on Rituelle in terms of wellness, health? What was the one we talked about last time? Was with menopause?
Yeah, menopause. So we talk a lot about mental health, this, manifestation, but I'm also obsessed with wellness and biohacking. So right now I am, talking about contrast therapy. So infrared sauna and cold plunge. Sweat House here in town is amazing. I just came from the chiropractor before I came to record this podcast, and I have never felt better. My anxiety levels, just by seeing a chiropractor, not for pain, but for regular wellness and maintenance. And I did a sauna before I came here, actually, and a little breathwork meditation to center. Intermittent fasting. So I think I'm in perimenopause. And have you heard of Dr. Mindy Pelz?
No.
She has the book Fast Like a Girl, and she also has a podcast. And I've been doing intermittent fasting for years. And after having my last child, my daughter, all my old tricks weren't working. And her philosophy is you need to fast with your cycle, and you need to vary the fast lengths alongside the cycle as well. So in your during your cycle, you're doing a shorter fast window. The week before, when you're angry, bloated, you're not fasting at all. And then you change the length of time weekly or even like every so often. And it has been a game changer. Life changing. Like weight I had been holding on to and could just never lose totally fell off me when I changed this.
And because I think too with your body, like let's say you just let your body eat normally the week of your period or whatever leading up to it, it also kind of like your body kind of needs to like get tricked a little bit here and there, right? So it's like if you're doing the same thing all the time, I don't know, that's kind of my philosophy.
It just gets used to it.
Like I kind of like to throw in a, half a pizza here and there.
Yes,
like a big old, like, I'm like, nope, there you go. There's a carb load. There's a carb load.
Yes, bottle of wine, half a bottle of wine.
You know what I mean? Like, there you go.
Yes.
Work that out.
Yes, I love it.
What else? Like, what are the big hot topics?
PEMF. Obsessed. Are you familiar with it?
Yes.
Awesome. Have you tried it?
Did I just read about that yesterday? Something with PEMF.
Okay, so here's my little science girl coming out.
Yeah.
But PEMF was developed by scientists for NASA. So when the astronauts came back to space, they could lay on these mats and recalibrate their body because the PEMF, it's pulse electromagnetic field, and it's the same like magnetic waves as the Earth. So there's a lot of studies done. It sounds woo-woo, but definitely research it. It is so great for inflammation, for your nervous system. At my chiropractor, they have attachments. So I hurt my back. You can attach it to your back and it just helps recovery. So it's great for athletes, even, kids. So it's great for that. Or if you can just lay on the mat and recalibrate your nervous system.
So where else can you do that here?
So the only place I know of is Advanced Wellness in Grandview, but you can also buy a higher dose sells a PEMF mat, which I'm working on. I'm considering investing in one.
Is it expensive?
It's like $1,500. So yeah, I went on I'm not a great flyer anxiety to see a client in Miami, and he had one, and I think that would have been my third time using it. He goes, go lay on my PEMF mat. Totally brought me right back down to earth, recentered. I was fine. I was like a nervous wreck.
Flying is the worst.
The whole everything about it.
Like I get in there and I sit down and I look forward and I'm like, I'm in this capsule with all these strangers just trusting my life to whom? It is the craziest thing in the world, but I'm like, I have to get in here. Otherwise, I'm the crazy one.
Yeah.
It's wild.
I know. I hate it. But I do it for the same reasons as you. I push through because I want to travel. I want to see the world. I want to, actualize these opportunities I have. So I do it.
How many times have you been in there? You're like, we're going down. I know it. I mean, I get.
And here's my husband asleep.
But
Doesn't even care.
That gives me comfort though. So what happens when I used to have major flight anxiety. When I was in 5th grade, I was on a plane to Mexico and the engine was on fire in the air.
No.
Yeah. And so it was like, I think that might have even been my first or one of my first experiences flying.
Well, no wonder.
Well, but even without that, I feel like I still would have been cuckoo, but I was real bad for a while. I've gotten over that I'm so much better. But once there's a little turbulence, like I get unhinged.
Yes.
Okay. So then I'm screwed. I mean,
for the rest of the flight.
Well, I can get back. I can get myself back. But like my palms will be literal puddles. And what I have to do is I have to look around because when I see someone else who's not bothered, I'm like, okay, they're unbothered. We're totally fine.
I love a man in a suit on his computer.
And like not even paying a lick of attention. I'm like, elbowing. I mean, there was one flight recently. I had a girl next to me and she was not in the mood to talk to me. And it was so turbulent as we were like going up. I knew we were going to I knew something was going to go wrong. And I like went like this to her and I'm like, I'm sorry. Hi. I'm like, am I the only one here that is like troubled by this? And she was kind of like, don't even like talk to me. I mean, I was, I mean, she didn't say that, but you could tell she was like, oh God, I mean, I can get off the rails in a plane.
Oh, same.
It's the worst.
I bit my friend, my best friend in her hand. I did. I bit her hand. My husband hates to fly with me because he's so chill. Never, ever, ever bothers him. But I will say with my kids, I don't want them to see that, So that actually just helped me to fly with them. So,
I know. Well, I do think when you're with your kid, it just kind of gives you more comfort.
Yes.
At least for me, it does.
Yes.
Where do you work out?
I mostly work out at home or at my gym, Kinsale, I go to. So I work out there. I do strength training on my own, cardio. That's one of my goals for this year is to better prioritize my physical health because I love to work. I'm obsessed with what I do. So, the minute I get the kids off to school, I want to get into work. So
I'm the same.
yeah.
I'm totally the same. But do you like working out from home?
Yes and no. I like it because I can just get in and get out, but I love the energy of a class. Like, love the energy of a class, the community, the instructors. So
I'm so into working out at home right now.
Yeah.
I really love it. But I started to do the math. I was like, hold on a minute. So I'm driving 10 to 12 minutes to get somewhere. And then I'm driving, let's just call it 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So 20 minutes, let's say 6 times a week. If you compound that in a year, I think I calculated like 5 days.
Yeah.
I'm like, is my math right?
I know.
Like I think I can work out from, I just think that I don't know.
Are you a morning person?
No.
Same.
So I'm working on getting back now to the really early workout where I'm just up like a rooster before my kids.
And you feel so good when you do it.
Yes.
It's amazing.
It has been such a climb for me right now because everything's so with the kids, it's like so unpredictable.
And like survival mode in the morning.
Right. So, but I'm like, all right, you can figure this out. But as long as I'm working out right now,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah.
I want to like back it up and get done really early.
Do that me time. I
Yeah.
know. Every time I do it, and I feel like the whole day, I feel like I'm just burning calories.
Oh, no, it's about, and the thing about that, and what's also great about that is you don't think about it the rest of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people out there hearing this are with me when I say it is a mental, like you carry it with you all day. I haven't worked out yet. I'm going to work out at 2. I'm going to work out at 3. You're in your workout clothes. And we all know by 3:34, you ain't doing it.
No.
So like, God, Keri, get out of bed.
I know. And you would think like, okay, this feels so good. Like you'd want to do it. But I love sleep. And sleep is so good for you.
I love sleep too. And it is good for you. I think it's very underrated.
Yes. I think creative people need a lot more sleep.
I agree. Much as I like the torture that goes on in my brain during the day, it needs some rest. So boss gal.
Okay, yes, I do want to talk about this
Yeah.
because one of my main things is on my platform, I don't want people to think like, oh, you're holier than thou. So I try to share like the low lows. Like I just lost my shit with my kids. I'm sharing this because I don't want you to think that I'm this Zen yogi that never messes up, because I do every day. And so I share that. And also I love clean beauty and non-toxic living, but I also love my Botox 4 times a year and certain aesthetic treatments. And I'm not gonna not share that and have people feel bad, or I'm just not a gatekeeper. So
Oh no, absolutely not. You got to share.
Yeah.
So what's this sculpture? Is that what it's called?
Sculptra. Yes, and actually I love this because it's kind of an alternative to a filler. It is not a filler, it's a biostimulator. So they inject it where you would want filler, but it causes your own body to produce its collagen and plump up in those areas. So you're not injecting like synthetic filler there, which I like. So the only downside is that it takes 6 months to kick in. And in this instant gratification world, a lot of people don't want to wait. However, it lasts more than 2 years.
What was this thing I just saw Injector Kathy, on Instagram getting training in?
I don't know. I need to talk to her about that. I think it's like a PRP.
I don't know, but it was interesting.
Yes.
Like what I was seeing.
She knows all the
She's
all
got
the good stuff.
She's got all the zhuzh. How
She
often are you
does.
getting facials and doing all that
You
stuff?
know, you would think with them being a wonderful client, I would be in there more often, but
I need to go back.
Yeah. Once every 6 weeks, I think is ideal. Then I love lasers, like love lasers. If you're someone listening who doesn't want to, do chemical type things, lasers are amazing. I think the Sculptra is a great alternative to filler. It's more natural. It kind of goes and knows where to go. It goes where it's needed. So I had my first treatment, and Kathy calls it Spanx for your face. And I'm like, yes, give me that. Give me the tightness.
Yeah.
So I'll have my second one, and then 6 months from now, it'll be fully kicked in.
So you get 2 different treatments.
Yeah. You're going to try it, right?
I am.
Yes, 2 treatments, 6 weeks apart. And then from that last treatment, it's about 6 months. But you will start to see changes. So it is an investment up front, but I think that it pays for itself.
Okay, so I can't let this interview slide without talking about how you're juggling parenthood
Yes.
with all this other stuff you've got going on. Like, it's madness.
Well, first of all, I'm glad you brought this up. I hate the word balance. Like there's no such thing. Juggle is the word. Because I've got all these balls up in the air and one drops every single day. But I have a really great partner who helps me out. We pretty much split the responsibilities 50-50. If I cook, he's doing the dishes. If he's giving the kids the bath, I'm getting their rooms ready for bed. So I feel really grateful. I truly couldn't do what I do without him.
What's his name?
Matt. But I'm looking at your shirt and my friends would know him as Baby Tiger.
Ooh.
Or El Tigre.
Baby Tiger. Why is that?
When I first met him, I thought he looked like a cute baby tiger. So that's what he is in my phone. So if he calls me, it pops up and they all see it. And laugh.
You know, they say we all look like an animal.
I know.
I'm trying to think.
I don't think you look like one to me.
But if I had to pick an animal for you,
oh God,
let's pick an animal for each other.
Okay.
Maybe a lion. I don't know.
Maybe
you
it's
have
the
like
hair.
a
It's
real,
probably the hair extension.
like a pretty female lion.
Oh, a lioness.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Don't you think I'd be like a sloth?
No, I was going to say gazelle.
A gazelle. I always call myself a gazelle just because of my long ass. Oh, that or an ostrich.
No, I like gazelle.
I love that. So how do you guys have good, like, equal parenting styles?
I would say he's definitely bad cop. I'm good cop. However, in front of the kids, we try to always be on the same page, and then we'll put them to bed, and I'll be like, I don't really like how you did that. And he'll say, no, I think it's about communicating too. Just, and as juggling so much, sometimes I feel like that's where I fail the most is my relationship with him. Like we try to do date nights, but we're both so tired. We're just on the couch watching a show together. And like while we're next to each other, we don't always have the mental capacity to want to communicate all these things. So
I agree. Yeah. And we were really great on date nights before Kyle came.
He's little though.
It's a girl.
Oh,
yeah,
Kyle,
but everyone
I
thinks
love
it's
that.
But everyone thinks it's a boy.
My daughter's Camille James.
Yeah.
I love.
They're always
that.
like, "Hey, buddy, how's your?" And then Brady shaved her head. That's a whole other thing. So here's this baby named Kyle with a shaved head, and everyone's like, "So, buddy, how?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's a girl." Then I actually just stopped for a minute when her hair was shaved. I was like, "Let's just roll with the boy thing." This is way too hard to explain to everybody.
I love it.
But I think before she came, we almost. For a minute there, we were doing date nights. I feel like kind of a lot.
How old is she?
She's a year.
So you're still in the thick of it.
Oh, yeah. And so I said the other night, I go, don't you think we should go on a date soon? He's like, yeah, probably should. Like passing in the thing. But I mean, you're
so tired.
And you know what it is? Like he's like, is it bad that all I could think about right now is like the end of the day, taking a bath, eating he's so into piata right now. He's obsessed with piata. He wants to just eat his piata and he wants to have his bath. I'm like, no, I get it because I just want to go upstairs and get some work done on my bed and maybe watch Dateline or watch TikTok. I just want to like have a minute where it's not like mop.
The mental load is like,
oh,
I know. Talk about you can't hear yourself think ever.
Yeah, I mean, it's the most incredible thing and the most taxing thing, all wrapped up into this wild ball.
Yes, I couldn't agree more.
I wouldn't trade it for anything.
But it's cool that you're on the same page. Like,
oh yeah,
thank God Matt's on the same page and he wants to do the same thing too.
Yeah.
Does your husband have any I'm obsessed with baths. I take one almost every night. Does he have just a normal bath or does he do the bath salts and?
He's. Sometimes I think he'll do some bubble situations. I try not to go in there. I try to give him his space. I don't want to go in during bath time. I think sometimes it's just a regular bath though.
Yeah. I love a detox bath, so good for your muscles and sleep.
Will you put salt in there?
Yeah, magnesium.
Oh yeah.
Salt,
How often do you do that?
4 times a week.
Seriously?
That's all I crave him. That's all. I can't wait to put them to bed, to get in there, and then I read. Don't bring my phone in. And
that's amazing.
Because I used to, and then I'd pass the time scrolling and it was mindless,
Yeah. God, I love a scroll though.
I know. It actually can be therapeutic as long as you're not abusing it, It's like your time to check out and just laugh. Yeah. I love to laugh. I love TikTok because my algorithm's funny.
All right, Erika. Well, this has been so fun.
Thank you so much for having me.
And this is just the start of our relationship, right?
Yes, I'm so happy.
I am so happy too. And if you're still out there following your girl, follow me on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. And until next time, go to Boss Gal, get a facial, get laser, get Sculptra, and keep moving, baby.
Amazing.
Circle.